everyone. Welcome to Guiding Voices, where we spotlight leaders shaping the future through purpose-driven impacts. Today, we are honored to have Dr. Soji Ayodele. He's one of our mentors at the We Guide Learning Initiative. Dr. Ayodele is a dedicated researcher whose expertise lies in alloys and composite development, powder methodology, material characterizations, and spark plaza sintering. His cutting-edge work continues in advanced fields of methodology and material engineering. His academic journey is very impressive and inspiring. He's earned BSc in Nigeria from the Federal University of Technology in Akure, and also his master's in industrial and production engineering from the University of Ibadan, and then his PhD in methodology engineering from the University of Johannesburg. Beyond his technical excellence, Dr. Ayodele's commitment to research and innovation makes him an exceptional guide for aspiring engineers within our community and for aspiring material scientists that are seeking to push the boundaries of what is possible in advanced material development. We are excited, obviously, to learn from his expertise today and honored to have him share his mentorship, his knowledge, his encouragement with our network. So, altogether, we're saying welcome Dr. Ayodele, welcome to the Guiding Voices. We are honored to have you and we really appreciate you joining us for this journey.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, Professor Adebola. I'm honored to be here, and I believe we can share information and rub mind and also guide aspiring students in the right way. So I'm
Yeah.
honored to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. Thank you again. I know. So let's go into our main sit down today. So first of all, I want us to talk about your early journey, and I wanted you to please share with us your journey from studying methodological and material engineering in Accra to becoming a researcher, you know, from South Africa and now down to the United States.
Thank you so much. The journey actually started in 2003. That's at Federal University of Technology, Akure. Initially, I wanted to study mechanical engineering, so I came in through pre-degree at that time, and I also wrote JAMB, which is UTMB right now in Nigeria. So at the end of it all, I couldn't get into mechanical engineering, and I think some of the students that I met over there said, "Oh, if you can't get in through mechanical engineering, why not go to metallurgical and materials engineering?" So I just opted for that, and my main focus was just to get admitted that time because I barely knew. I've not really had more knowledge or information about metallurgical and materials engineering, but all we know that time is mechanical, electrical, civil engineering. So, but I started the journey, started reading, and with awareness and all the we had good lecturers. They taught us the foundation, and when I begin to progress from year one to two to 300 level, then I really began to understand uh, materials and metallurgical engineering better. And when I graduated in 2008. After graduating, I was trying to get a job, you know, in a place in Nigeria. But when during that process, I just decided to go back to uh, for my master degrees in University of Ibadan. So I wanted to try another branch of engineering, which is related to what I've done previously, and that was industrial and production engineering. When I did that, then immediately I completed my master program. I got a job. I worked for about 2 to 3 years before I just decided within me that okay, I needed to study more to actually gain more knowledge on what I've learned before, and that was what motivated me to the University of Johannesburg. Though I had one of my lecturers back in Federal University of Akure, so I had an opportunity to travel down um, to South Africa. Then he became a professor over there. Then through we just started communicating and all that. And so, if you're interested in pursuing your doctoral degree, this is how you go about it. And that was just how the journey started. And by God's grace, I was able to begin the doctoral program and I graduated. Um, After that, we started the postdoctoral research fellowship, and it's been on. We've been developing materials, we've been guiding students, lecturing students, um, attending to their needs, and so on. Just so many things regarding research and development, and we've been publishing findings in peer-reviewed journals. So that's how the journey started.
So one thing I hear from you is that I want to have two questions, follow-up questions from your narration. So how do you feel making that decision now to go from changing your mind from mechanical to material engineering?
Actually, when I began um, materials and metallurgical engineering, we thought it was a narrow field. You understand? In terms of getting employment opportunities back in Nigeria, like most of us want to work in oil and gas, related fields. So we thought with electrical engineering and mechanical that it's actually going to give us a kind of a higher ground to get into those fields. But when I started this journey, I discovered that there are more to materials and metallurgical engineering, because you can also diversify into some of those fields. You can diversify to production. So it's really an interesting journey for me, and I will say through God guidance. Let me put it that way, because when you see someone saying, "Okay, this is the path to follow," and you follow the path and you are successful in that path, I think it's actually the grace of God to do that. And since then, I've been enjoying the field. I'm not sure I would like to go back to mechanical engineering now.
That's actually good to hear. I mean, sometimes the way we get on the road, sometimes it's through challenges, challenging times, and we feel like, okay, I've made a mistake. I'm going to go this way, but we're grateful that today you have a doctorate and a professor of methodology and material engineering. Now, for people outside of engineering, um, if you want to explain what you guys do in material and methodology engineering, because for many people they might be just be hearing it, they've not have experience into it. And for even some, they've had a bit of experience, but they didn't get it. So for example, for me, it's a compulsory course in second year of engineering that we do. It's called the material methodological engineering. And that's why I like to call you material methodological engineering. Well, it's the other way around in your own school. Exactly. Do you want to explain in the simplest way for people outside of engineering what you guys do?
So just the basic understanding of materials and metallurgical engineering. We develop materials for advanced production using advanced production routes, and those materials are for specific or intended use. Let's say for aerospace, for automobile, there are specific materials that are being used in those specific places or those industrial areas. So, in a simple form, I will say we turn metallic powders into bulk materials for intended use in a wide area of applications. So most of these materials that we develop, they are actually tested to make sure that they meet the requirements for the specific area being used. So that's where that's the simplest way I can put it to people that are new in the field.
And it's amazing that there are materials everywhere, from the material for making technology, for making laptops, phones, cameras, to materials for making cars, for making tires, for making roofs, for making buildings, for making cables. I mean, like, it's just a very big, big, big space. And that's why I want to ask a follow-up question, because a lot of people don't understand the importance of material engineering and material science, maybe in the African space. I want to say that, what would you say is, how important is material science to the Africa's industrial and technological development, especially because we do not exactly have um, a, how would I say, an established culture of recycling, and established culture of focusing on materials. Sometimes we just improvise, we do certain things and the likes.
Yeah, material science, it's a big central part of African development. Like you said, there are materials everywhere. So it could be maybe from energy for mining, healthcare, manufacturing. You discover that there are diverse materials that are being used in those sectors. So material is very, very important. And basically, in what we do in Africa is to just exploit those materials, maybe exploit it. Then, and after exploiting it, they are not being transferred, they are not being transformed into those value-added products. You understand? I think that's the major challenges we have in Africa. But material, it's the role of materials cannot be overemphasized in Africa and in the world. It is very important because material is everywhere and is being used on a daily basis. And you discover that the more we use material, there's innovation in materials, and that's why you discover that some gadgets that used to be very big, they are becoming very light and doing the same still doing the same thing. You understand? So that's the role of materials. We keep developing materials for uh we keep developing materials that are lighter, that are durable, flexible, and that meets its intended use. So the role of material in Africa development and technology can it's very important. So we cannot overemphasize this.
Okay, and that brings me to the question: what challenges do African researchers then face in being able to push the boundaries in methodology and material development?
Yeah, I would say one of the challenges is funding gap. Let me tie funding gap to access to infrastructure. So if as a researcher working on a particular project, if there's no access to infrastructure, there will be kind of delay. Let me use the word delay, or you can't even complete the project. And in Africa, funding it's a big thing. We prefer to fund other things than to fund education in Africa. So the funding is not available. Though some in some other African countries they are available, but I would say they are not enough to actually purchase those um, innovative and advanced equipment. Also, I would say brain drain because most of the brilliant ones, talented researchers, they will prefer to leave Africa to somewhere else where they can put their talents into use. So these are the limitations that is being faced, that we face in Africa.
Wow. Yeah, I just wanted to say that, one of our goals at WeGuide is to be able to have education translate into innovation, right? And that's why I just want us to talk briefly about the biggest opportunities for young engineers and scientists in Africa today, especially in the place of material science. What do you think is that opportunity for them?
Yeah, basically, there are several opportunities in material science, and one of the trend right now is in artificial intelligence. So, people are moving into digital manufacturing, whereby they use additive manufacturing to produce most of the components, because those digital manufacturing have replaced the traditional way of producing materials. So that's the biggest opportunity right now, coupled with artificial intelligence. You know, this is where the opportunity lies right now in material science, using data-driven processes and optimization. So easily, materials can be produced faster, that are stronger, flexible, durable, and within a few minutes you have those materials, and with cost, which with little cost. You understand what I mean? So I think those are the biggest opportunity right now in material science for young talents that want to go into the field.
Okay, so now I just want to ask this a little personal question, but obviously in research, is there any particular research project that you were particularly proud of?
I've worked on several projects, but one of my recent projects was in the area of high entropy alloys. We try to produce multi-component materials using metals. I actually worked with one of our PhD doctoral students, and we're able to um, use a software to predict, because they are multi-components. We don't know how they're going to behave. You bring in so many components, elements together, they have unique properties. So we want to know how those unique properties will behave together. So we are trying to form a homogeneous material, bringing so many materials together. So we actually use the software to predict the phases, and after predicting those phases, we're able to develop the material, and we're able to validate what we predicted with the software, with the experimental result, and we're able to achieve a few results, and we publish it in a peer review journal. I think that's um, one of the projects I'm really proud of that we've worked on recently.
All right, congratulations. I will hope to see that very soon in one of the peer review journals. And also, congratulations on your PhD student, by the way.
Thank you.
That's a big deal.
Thank
That's
you.
a big deal. All right. Well, you are part of a mentorship team. So you mentor young minds across Africa. And by the way, we do that for free for African students and young professionals. Why is mentorship so important in science and engineering and even in any field?
It's mentoring. It's very vital, because when you mentor students, uh, it's just a bridge. It's just a bridge for them to cross, so that if you once made a mistake in the past, and you mentor students, oh, this is the way you should go about it. So they will avoid those common pitfalls that so many researchers have passed through. So I'll use myself as an example, because when I started the doctoral program, I, I was actually struggling, because I came from the industry into academics. So my supervisor, Professor Olubambi, he was the one that mentored me, you know, and guided me on how to go about everything I became today. Presently, it was through him. So it's that's why I say mentoring. It's very important. Those knowledge that he passed on to us, we also pass it across students that we lectures or that we maybe guide or supervise their research projects and all that. So mentoring is very important, and it's very good to start. Let's say let's say high school or secondary school, so that they can have those basic knowledge. You understand, in terms of research, in terms of how to maybe apply for scholarship, how what to do and all that. So it's very important in any field, especially in material science. Mentoring is very important. And in what we do, we guide learning initiative. It's also mentoring students to understand some of these fields, especially in the engineering and other fields, just to give them a foresight of what to do, and if they need anything they can reach out to us. So it's very important in
Okay.
academics.
And thank you also for the time you have put in also for our students. Like he has mentioned, it's very important for you to be able to find that bridge. Sometimes you get to a point where you need to go across that big pitfall. I just need someone that has been there, and the person just lays themselves down as a bridge. You walk on their backs, and you're able to go to the other end successful. And you remember I said at the beginning that I had two follow-up questions. I've asked the first one. The second one was the fact that you mentioned that you had a prof that was moving from his job
Yes.
in Nigeria and was moving to South Africa. He became a professor and then he became your supervisor.
Yeah.
I understand that we are from a generation different from the generation today. And from there, I see something you have portrayed about. Do you want to talk about the importance of relationship?
It's very, very important. Relationship, and let me say team collaboration and networking. It's very important in academics. So because sometimes when you have a good relationship with your mentor or supervisor or your lecturers, you don't know how there are some doors that it just open on its own. You understand? It's not by true loving, it's just by true guidance. That okay, do this. When you do this, then there should be something. You understand what I'm trying to say? So the relationship is very important. And with my professor that was my lecturer back in Federal University of Technology, and that became my supervisor again. It has been through relationship. You understand? Though I was not in academics, but when I wanted to come back, just prof, I need to do this, I need to do this. All is just in there, okay, go through this route, and everything was sorted. So networking is very vital. Relationship, team collaboration, they are very vital in academics and in research. So we should not just overlook it. It's very important.
Thank you for that. And also, so interesting to see that even your first few years as an academic or even as a maybe lecturer or a professor, sometimes the conversation comes up as that who trained you,
Yes.
meaning that who was your supervisor, who trained you.
Mm.
In the first few years of your career, who trained you becomes a conversation for you to get into some space. That's something very interesting. The other thing that I've also learned, for example, in my journey, even in that space, also is that I remember my co-supervisor when he makes certain comments. Sometimes he makes those comments thinking that maybe nobody's listening. He was shocked to find out that I always did listen and I always did note them down. So, for example, he says things like, "Oh, as a PhD or as a postdoc, try to get experience in teaching first year." first year classes, younger classes. He kept saying things like that. He says a lot of people don't like to teach first year. As a young person, try to teach first year. It's always good on your CV. He says some very slight comments like that because he's a professor, as a senior professor that likes to teach first year. And that's one thing I like took away from him, that sometimes you sit with these people, you listen to them, they make subtle comments, they say things. It's your choice to listen, it's your choice not to listen. But again, that's one thing that I've learned obviously in this space when it comes to relationship. Relationship is important. You can't burn bridges. You can't behave anyhow. You can't say because I'm this generation, this is the way we behave, this is the way we act. You have to know that some people that you think you might not need today, they might be bridge tomorrow.
Yeah.
And thank you for sharing. So looking back, what would you say was your toughest point in your academic journey, and how did you overcome it?
The toughest point was the early days in my doctoral program. So because I started all over learning things, learning different things, learning how to conduct research. Because most of the things we used to do back then in Nigeria, they were just very new to me. So I began to work out, study most of the things, and the toughest time were maybe after conducting research and you thought you've done everything you needed to do. And when you submit your journals, your review papers, and all that, and you find that they are being rejected so much, so it's a painful experience that, but we all have to go through it. But those are the toughest um, points in my academics journey. But by the grace of God, everything has been good. Um, it has not been easy, but we give God all the glory. So the stage we are now is through those um, academics journey. So we thank God for everything.
Yeah. Yesterday, we were having this conversation with a colleague and talking to a student, and we've been in academia means that it's significant. We've been through too many failures, too many rejections, like too many no's, too many applications, too many papers rejected, too many grant proposals that has been rejected. And, you know, we're just super grateful that we're all here and still living and enjoying God's grace, and also, most importantly, learn from our failures and able to pass it on. So, what advice would you give someone that is like 20 years old today and is so passionate about science, about engineering, about the academic profession? What would you say to
My advice is the first thing that they should believe in themselves.
them?
They should believe in their ideas. And they should be persistent in whatever they do. And they should work hard. So with those 3 points, I believe they're going to achieve their dream. It's just a matter of time. But in,
So, what?
but in academics also, we need to be patient because it takes a lot of patience to actually get to the top in academics. So, so the advice is just be persistent with whatever you want to do in whatever field you want to go into, and just believe in yourself and work hard. Be diligent. That is all.
Thank you for that, due diligence. So, what legacy do you hope your work in that space of methodology, um, material sciences, mentorship will leave with Africa's next generation?
That is a big one. It's a big one, but I would say it's still work in progress. I would say it's still work in progress, but I would say um, one of the things we do as a methodologist is to just show Africa that we cannot rely on those uh, raw materials alone. We need to start turning those raw materials to value added products
Mm,
so that we can create employment. because most of these raw materials, they just ship it and they don't care about what other product that comes from it. So we should start thinking about that. This because we are rich in resources. We should try turning these resources into products so that it can create opportunities for young people, young mind coming up.
I was going to say that Africa is super blessed. Like we're blessed. We're blessed. And that's why I want to follow up with these questions that how do you envision then the future of material engineering, especially in the research space in Africa in the next 10 to 20 years? Because I'm a big believer in Nigeria, in the Nigerian academic space, in the Nigerian researchers, because they are brilliant researchers back home. And I'm just wondering, how do you see material engineering research in the next 10 to 20 years in Africa?
Hmm. In the next 10 to 20 years, I believe um, there will be growth in material science and engineering in Africa with the right resources. That's what I believe. I believe there'll be growth in manufacturing and in innovation of those materials. So all we just need to do is it's a teamwork. It cannot be done by only one person. That's why I say team collaboration and networking is very important in this journey. So with most of us that are outside Africa, we need to put our minds together to see how we can develop that field of material science. So we have a lot to do. So that's what I can say. But I believe in the next 10 to 20 years, I see growth, I see development, I see innovations. Nigerians that we are creative mind, so I believe those innovations will come gradually in the next years.
Right. Thank you. So, I know when it comes to your journey, academic journey, and even experience, you went from Nigeria, South Africa, Canada, South Africa, United States. If there's one thing you want your listeners today to take away from your journey, what would you like that to be?
Hmm. If there's one thing I will let them to take from my journey, it's to just believe in God, number one, because with God, nothing is impossible. Then also, they should believe in themselves. There is nothing anyone cannot achieve. That's one thing I keep telling people. There's nothing you cannot achieve if you believe in yourself. And with God's help and with good mentors, you understand. Like I said, everything I've achieved today, not through my knowledge alone, but with the collaboration of good mentors that say this is the path you need to follow. So those are the things I believe, and so that's my take home advice for anyone listening to us. Believe in your ideas and seek mentors when you have challenges.
All right. Thank you. As we bring this to a close, just to let you know that Dr. Ayodele is one of our mentors. And when you get to our website, you will see his area of expertise and his mentorship. Obviously, it cuts across Africa. So we are open to students and young professionals in Africa, and it's free. And as we close, if there's one thing you want to share with your potential mentees or your current ones, what would that be? What is one thing you just want to let them know?
Okay, I would like to say be diligent in whatever you do.
Mm,
And those failures, pitfalls will come,
mm,
but seek good mentors, seek good advice, then I believe you will overcome those challenges. Thank you so much.
And thank you, sir. Thank you for the time. It was nice chatting with you. He's one of our very calm professors and gentle. And I always say, if PhD does not even make you calm, if the journey of academy doesn't make you really mellow down and calm down, and I don't know what will. But thank you so much for your time.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
also
much.
for your sacrifices in mentoring and giving your time to the organization free of charge. And we really appreciate you.
Thank you so
And
much.
thank you everyone for joining us again on this episode. And we will definitely see you on the next one. For details on how to join the free mentorship program at We Guide Learning Initiative, please look into the description of this video. You're going to see our website and also a quick guide on how to get in. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Professor Adebola.
It was good to have you here. We'll see you later. Bye everyone.